Hello again, Taurus. Dadhichi here with your March 2019 synopsis of what's happening. Call it your current karma, if you will. And speaking of karma, I want to talk about the karma point here in your horoscope and its recent entry into your third house of communications, siblings, neighbourhood, travels, mental activities. It's a very, very big desire planet. And it, in a way, acts like Uranus, which, as you can see here, let me just go back to the first of the month. As you can see here, a couple of very important transits take place in the first week of the month. The first one is your ruling planet, straight into the 10th house here, the apex of the horoscope, which is considered a really, really nice position. It brings a social flavour to your work. It commits you to doing better work and gaining popularity through the professional line that you've chosen. If you're unemployed or looking for work, generally we can see that this is an omen of good fortune. The other important transit on, I think it's the 4th, if I'm not mistaken, or the 7th. There it is, there, the 7th. The planet Uranus, which has been doing this to and fro in the 12th house, Aries, sun sign, Taurus, moves back into your sun sign. You may recall, for some of you that were watching me last year, I call this the disruptor. And it's not particularly good to have Mars and Uranus here together. Fortunately, Mars has moved away from this planet. But we do see that because Mars is ruling your marital affairs and Uranus now is also going to cast an influence here, that although you're going to have some pretty good stuff going on here in your career, here also, the 11th house of your horoscope, which is your social activities, notwithstanding that, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. This also is a challenge, the bringer of your karma. The focus here is specifically on your mentality and the way you deal with communicating your ideas. Or could it be not communicating your ideas? You see, this is a shadowy point. This is all good stuff. This is not so good stuff, but it's how you think, how you communicate, how you plan, and how you, to a large extent, solve your problems that's being pointed to here by this planet. And we also see that there's a very intense combination of planets here. These are all in conjunction: Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node, or your past karma, in the 9th house of higher learning, legalities, spirituality. These planets are in direct opposition to this North Node, which for you, by the way, is not a bad planet. It actually rules this upper part of the horoscope. So there's an intimate link between your sun sign and the karmic forces at work right now in your life. You'll be focusing a lot on your work. You'll feel comfortable in your work. But if you want to get ahead, this planet shows that the way to do that, and it acts very similarly to Uranus, is that you must do things differently. We've been talking about this theme for you for a long time, and I'm not necessarily going to let up on you. We need to get you to jettison the old methodologies. Here we see also retrogression of Mercury in the 11th house. So it is a rethink here. Whenever we see the retrogression, we see that it works to revise your view on things. On that same date, the new moon taking place and moving into conjunction with Mercury shows the commencement of new patterns of thinking, ideation, idealism too, because Neptune's very strongly implicated in this as well. So these are very powerful forces relating to your work, your social life, but more importantly to the way you are thinking about all these things. And the intensity of that is borne out by Pluto and Saturn here in opposition to that. The transits of the Sun, particularly after the 19th, into the 12th house of your horoscope, are pretty telling. This can show that you're burning yourself out here. So it's important to pace yourself in the professional arena. The Sun is the natural ruler of your work. Moving to this 12th house, that can indicate work or important engagement of other people in a foreign place, offshore, interstate, travels out of your normal locality, but also deep, thought-provoking consideration for your past. Again, this past karma point is pointing to that. The full moon, which I just missed, takes place on the 24th. There it is there. Sorry, the 22nd and 21st. My apologies, I'm all over the shop here. And this is taking place in your 6th house. The 11th house new moon showed us the approach to friendships and new relationships in that area. But the 6th house and the full moon there relates to your workplace relationships, how you deal with your co-workers. And this is also a low-key point, even though the moon is full, it's a low-key point for your health possibly, so you need to watch that. It's a high point for your finances though. This is the ruler of your 3rd house, and the 6th house is normally considered a good omen. So that should bring with it, if again you pace yourself, some really, really good opportunities to improve your work, to improve your income. That's also shown up here, although Mercury goes retrograde up until the latter part of the month. And then there it is there, just last couple of days of the month moving forward. And also, by the way, just as your ruling planet moves into this 11th house, I think at that point you're going to be a lot more comfortable with your social engagements. There should indeed be an increase in your financial net worth, opportunities to increase your income, and to couple that work activity that we just saw there of your ruling planet with a social flavour to it. The final day of the month also keeps pointing to this workplace activity with the moon transiting up here. There's lots of good aspects again to this North Node. So when that's occurring, it shows that you're more in the swing of things with cultural trends, the opinions of others, and there's a more agreeable sort of energy, generally speaking. Next month you'll see, and we'll get onto that when I see you here, same time, same channel, Mars moving out of this 1st house, or what we call the sun sign, taking that pressure off somewhat your relationship. So do come back and I'll be talking about that. In the meantime, pay a visit to astrology.com.au, subscribe here, and take a look at all of the free stuff we have there, and a lot more here on the month of March. Take care now. Bye-bye.